The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
All right, here's the fact that makes your brain go. So when this happens in your home, 13% of people are terrified. And what did you say again, Kenzie, you think it is? You thought it was?
A tornado siren?
A tornado siren.
Because I think some people take that kind of stuff serious and some people don't. Or like the thunderstorm warnings, like those type of like weather warnings.
I can say that last year when those tornado warnings went off in the city, I was like,
You were shook.
oh, I thought that we were at World War III. I'm like, there's never a tornado toward Wrigley Field.
Yeah,
I was like, what the hell's going on?
I think people in the city are like, it doesn't happen to single people.
That's right.
Wait a minute.
Can't hurt me.
Brian, do you remember when you were stuck at brunch when a tornado almost touched down downtown a few years ago?
Absolutely. I was at Rosebud on Rush in the out part area that's a tent kind of deal. And we're sitting there and boy, it's raining. Boy, that lightning's getting strong. Then all of a sudden the tent starts blowing away and they rush us into the restaurant. And I go, but can I finish my lasagna, please? Can I bring the plate?
I remember that day well because it was a weekend and I woke up oddly late that day. Like I don't normally sleep in. I woke up pretty late. So it was like 10:30. I was like, well, I might as well start my day at Subway, the restaurant. This is true, by the way.
Subway, the restaurant.
Walked to Subway. It was nice out, but the time I had ordered my meatball sub, torrential downpour. I had never seen it rain harder in my entire life.
Now you have soggy bread.
I know. It sucked.
Oh.
It's kind of like you got
God gives us toughest battles to his strongest warriors.
He got his Subway sandwich baptized like at Mr. Beef.
Oh, my God, yeah. I got a meatball sub dripped.
Oh,
You're dripping, baby.
So I will say it's not a tornado siren that terrifies people. 13% of them when this happens. Case, what do you think it is?
I thought it was thunderstorms because we had thunderstorms recently, and I texted you saying I was scared.
Yeah, I almost had to go to Case's house. He lives
Thunder Buddy! You guys are very Ted-like together.
Oh, God.
Am I Mark Wahlberg or am I the teddy bear?
What do you think, Case?
I'm the teddy bear.
Yep.
Of course you are.
And it is a stretch to say that Brian's Mark Wahlberg, but it's just, like it's just in the,
I do live his lifestyle. I'm very lean.
Well, obviously.
Clearly.
You're balling.
So it's not either of those things. They're great guesses. 13% of people become terrified in their home, even if other people are around, when someone knocks at the door.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And I mean like terrified.
Well, you have an apartment. You should be terrified.
Because they have to like get into the building first.
Yeah, it's already taken so many steps to get to your place,
Yeah, we have a buzzer to the outside that lets someone in, and then they can come knock on the door. So if somebody does knock on the door, I'm like, well, who let this person in first? And we're not expecting anybody. Mm-hmm. And I do freak out. I go, Megan, take the baby into the bedroom. I grab a kitchen knife. I don't know why.
I'm surprised you don't run into the bedroom with the baby like Megan.
Megan, answer the door, please. Trembling, scared.
You're like, I gotta protect her. I gotta be your last line of defense.
I'm not.
In case.
I'm not joking. I have certain items like in different parts of the home in case someone comes in. Like I have a baseball,
what kind of
a baseball bat.
Uh-huh.
She won't let me have a gun, so I mean that's too personal to say on the air. I know. But I have certain items at
Everyone else in Chicago has a gun.
It's funny to advertise that you don't have a gun.
I shouldn't have said that.
That's a bad idea.
But maybe I'm just playing you, and you're gonna come over.
Because it's your goal to entice robbers. That's what everyone likes to do.
Spider to the web, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Lure them in.
Yeah, that's fun.
And pow, 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 pow.
This is like in The Office when Roy attacked Jim that one time, but Dwight had pepper spray under his desk, and then Toby made him get rid of all the weapons in the office, so he had to get rid of his ninja throwing stars that he hid. He had to get rid of his pepper spray.
You know what? Safest office there is. And people just gotta ruin it.
That's right. So 13% of people get terrified when someone knocks at the door and they're not expecting it. 34% of people get annoyed.
Yes, that's me.
Yeah.
So in our neighborhood, we have tons, and I mean daily solicitors.
Yeah.
Which is super annoying. And the other night, it was 8 o'clock, and somebody rang the doorbell.
So people
to
really
solicit.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, because I don't live suburban, and Case doesn't either. So that still happens where a lot of people come to your door and try to sell you something?
Oh, my gosh. It is so obnoxious, because when you're a girl home alone, I'm not opening the door for you to be like, as a guy, I'd be like, oh, want a new roof? I was like, not really.
Yeah.
I think I would find you if I needed that. We wouldn't have to do this.
Right.
And this guy rang the doorbell like 8 o'clock at night. It was creepy because my son was at baseball, so my husband was with him. So I'm by myself. This guy rings the doorbell. I'm like, no. And he saw me in the window, and he wouldn't leave because
Wait, he went to the window?
Well, because we have like glass near our door.
Oh, okay.
So he saw me, so he wouldn't leave. And so I had to go on my ring doorbell, and I'm like, what? Like, I was super mean about it. Because I'm like, what are you standing at my door for, you weirdo? And he's like...
Did you say weirdo?
Yes. I was very mean. mean. I was trying to deter. I wasn't trying to attract robbers like you.
Yeah, I'm trying to attract them so I can.
Yeah. So I was
Stab
trying to
them.
deter. And I'm like, because I said it was weird just to sit at my door. And he's like, well, if you could just open the door, I could just go over this with you. I go, no. I'm not opening the door. You can leave. And he still stood there for like a few more seconds. And I go, this like, get off the doorstep. It's 8 o'clock at night. And this was like a few weeks ago where it was dark already. It's
Yeah.
like, why are you ringing doorbells when it's dark out?
Right.
That is just creepy.
Dedicated salesman, though. He stayed on.
Yeah, is he, or does he kidnap people? We'll never know.
He might be a really good roofing salesman.
Oh, I think he was going to say with roofies.
Maybe he's, trying to hit that last quota, for the month.
Yeah, you probably missed out on a great opportunity.
Could have got a cheap roof.
I know. That's really sad when you
I
think
like
about
my
it.
roof. I'm a big fan of it.
So he goes away crying like, she was my millionth customer. She was going to get a free roof.
All she had to do was be nice and talk to me.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, Sebastian Maniscalco has a great bit where he talks about people knocking on the door. And the beginning part of the bit is like in the old days, people would run, oh my God, someone's here.
It was exciting.
They go get cake and
Yeah.
coffee. And I like how he says the kids like slide out in the socks in the front door like, meow, trying to see who's there.
Oh, it's Sandy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But today's version is, of course, you go into military mode. Dad said, get
Your
down.
old mother's crawling across the kitchen floor. Get down, my army crawl. Army crawl, get in the closet. Go get the sword in the living room. Somebody get the sword underneath the couch in the living room. There's a sword. All right, you have to turn and ask your family, you invite anybody over? You invite anybody over? There's always that person upstairs that didn't hear the bell. They come walking down. What the hell is going on? Get the hell down. Somebody's outside. They're at the door. I think they saw movement.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. I'm not going to hit the Pour One Out song for this one, but it's another iconic thing in Chicago changing its name. Sears Tower, Comiskey Park.
I thought it was going to be you again because you've been lately around Lewis, Sludge, Ryan. I was like, oh gosh, what's happening now? You're reinventing yourself.
I've also, as I shocked Case yesterday in a
Kenzie,
discussion off the air.
He threw a new name at me I had never heard before.
That you've had before or that you want to start using?
No, that I've had before on the radio when I was starting
I'm not
out.
calling you Lightning Rod.
You don't have to. I'm Brian. I would never put that in any kind of, mantra that's what I want to be called from now on. I like using Brian. I used Sludge for many years. My dad hated it, and people loved it. So I said,
of course your dad hated the word sludge. He named you Brian.
That's right.
He wasn't looking for something like, he wanted you to be straightforward.
I know, but when everybody loved Sludge, I said, shut up, Dad. See? I made it.
Sludgy.
And then
You sound like the girl from Monsters, Inc. Mike Wazowski.
So this doesn't involve me. It involves the city of Chicago, these great iconic names, like Comiskey Park, Sears Tower, Lakeshore Drive.
you
Yeah,
just said
hold on.
though.
Tell
Well,
Kenzie your old name.
yeah, there was a new name on the list.
I wanted to go over
Wait a minute.
All right, stop the show. So, Sludge, Lightning Rod. I've been Roadkill. I was the other name I had. One of the other names. There's still some more. I was Cody the Surfer.
Where?
When I was 19 years old on another, that's how I started in radio, was Cody the Surfer.
Why were you called Cody?
Or the
Because-
surfer.
Well,
Fair question.
I don't surf. I just started talking like Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Let me hear you.
Like man, all I need are some tasty waves and a cool buzz, and
So
I'm
were you like
fine.
a character?
Well, I turned into one. I didn't expect it. They threw me on the air one day.
So
I just
you
went into
talked like that? You didn't expect to become a character?
Yeah. I thought it would be a one-time deal, and it turned out I lasted about 3 years on the show
This
being
is
Cody
like
the
when
Surfer.
Phoebe accidentally talked preppy in front of her boyfriend's parents and she kept having to do it. You got so nervous that you just
Yeah.
started talking like that?
Exactly. Huge.
Cody the Surfer.
Yeah.
What city was this?
This was in Toledo, Ohio, when I was in college starting out my radio
so
career.
also not a surfing city.
Oh, what are you talking about? It's the Huntington Beach of the Midwest.
There's a lake there, just like here. There's Lake Erie on Toledo, so people eventually go out there and not surf. They fish for walleye there.
But where did Cody come from?
No idea. I was thrown on the spot, a gun to my head, say something, and I did, and that's what came out.
Did you say I'm Cody or did they just start calling you that?
I just went like, oh, man. And then they were
Cody.
like, I said, who are you? I go, I'm Cody, because that's the only name I could think of that would be like a surfer dude.
Why didn't you think of your own name?
Brian. Doesn't sound like a surfer guy.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's how I was for 3 years on the radio. Yep, just like that.
I think that you're going to end up on Kenzie's Crimes one day because the amount of aliases you have had, we're going to discover you've murdered so many. Nobody changes their actual name this much.
I've murdered Brian quite a few times.
I know.
Trying to get away from
Your
it.
poor father is like, why do you hate me? You like every other name that's ever existed.
Oh, he was so happy when I started using Brian about 6-7 years ago here. I got the Q101. He was so happy about that.
Finally.
Yeah. So, other Chicago names.
All right, Cody, what's the story about?
All right, so you got the Sears Tower, you got Comiskey Park, man. You've got Lakeshore Drive. All these things have changed in the last several years, but there's another one, an iconic Chicago name that's going away. And I'm not even pouring one out because the thing itself is not going away, but the name kind of is. It is the Museum of Science and Industry. Such a joyous place. I love.
What are they going to call it?
Well, here's what happened 5 years ago. The richest man in Illinois, he was at the time, Kenneth C. Griffin, okay? He actually moved to Miami, so he doesn't live here anymore.
I was going to say, he sounds rich. Your last name is Griffin?
As Kenneth C. Griffin, man. Or it'd be something more like Kenneth C. Griffin.
Now you sound like Phoebe.
He was the wealthiest man in Illinois. He started a Citadel hedge fund, if you're one of those finance people. Okay, so he did that, and 5 years ago, he gave $125 million of his money to the Museum of Science and Industry. And they said at the time, we talked about this, there was going to be a name change involved. Got kind of mad about it back then. But then, just went away. The name change never happened. And now it's going to be officially called. Are you ready for it?
Uh-huh.
The new name of the museum will officially be called the Kenneth C. Griffin Museum of Science and Industry.
Oh.
That's the new name.
It's a bit long.
It's a little long. All the new names are long. Like, what is it? Jean Point du Sable Lakeshore Drive. It's just Lakeshore Drive.
We should just call it KFG.
KFG. That's not bad. Well, they end up like Guaranteed Rate Field of Comiskey people call it the Rate, and was U.S. Cellular Field. They called it the Cell. Sears Tower, no one ever called it Willis Tower. If you do,
No.
God.
Big Willie. That's what I called it.
That's not a bad name for it, actually.
Okay. You know what? I was excited for the name change, but I saw this. I didn't know if they were changing it to, though, because I don't understand what the word industry means in it. Science Museum and industry? What industry?
Well,
what?
You've been there. I know you love it.
Saw a lot of science. That part made sense.
So, for example, I asked Case during the commercial break, and I said, have you ever been there? And he goes, I don't think so.
Well, he asked if it was the one with the dinosaur.
And I said, that's the Field Museum. And I said, no, there's an effing jet in this one. And
Right.
that's the industry part. There's stuff of the airline industry or all stuff in there. There's a submarine in there.
Yeah, I know. I was in the submarine.
It's awesome.
It's cool.
That's so cool. Case,
I can't
there's an
believe
effing
you-
submarine in there, Case. Get down to the museum.
Is it
But
underwater?
that's so many industries. So you can't say end industry. It should be like end a bunch of industries.
Well, it's industry. They're going to change the name again.
I was like, what industry?
So that's it. So those are the industries, like airline industry.
Companies that like they're referencing the companies that own products.
They're referencing basically flight and space, because I believe the SpaceX rocket is going to go there. So this is a great thing. This is a great thing that the money was given to make the museum better and keep it going, because just like everything else, things are hurting in the inflation times. And
I don't know, man. I went there over holiday break, and it was so busy I couldn't move.
It's a great museum.
I also waited like an hour and a half for Stan's Donuts inside the Science Museum and Industry of JFC and Planes and
It
Submarines
should be called the
Industries.
Stan's Donuts Science and Industry Museum.
You have no idea. People, you wouldn't think there was a Stan's Donuts nowhere else because everybody wants to go there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, there's one in Michigan, like 5 minutes from here, that's larger.
There's a lot of locations of Stan's Donuts.
But these children, they're just, the donut shop should never be there because you're trying to have children learn, and then they just see donuts, and they're just
all gone.
Then they're just animals.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm like, look at that plane. He's like, are we getting donuts? I'm like, oh my God.
There's a freaking jet inside there.
I'm like, we're inside a submarine. He goes, is there a donut shop in the submarine also? The whole day was just about the donut shop. We should have obviously went first. I made a mistake.
Will there be stewardesses in that plane passing out donuts if I go in there?
Yeah. It's like everything became a hunt for more donuts.
Like, I don't think anybody's ever going to call it this. It's the Museum of Science and Industry. And it's great that a rich guy took a lot of his money, a lot of it, to keep the museum going and get new things. There's a lot of new exhibits that are going to be coming. New home for the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft that flew 2 missions to the International Space Station in 2019. There's going to be a new film, A Superhuman Body, World of Medical Marvels. That's going to be at the Giant Dome Theater. So a lot of things are going to happen because he gave this money. And also, I hate name changes. Like I said, it's what it is. But however, I'm going to be a hypocrite right now because if I had $125 million to give, holy crap, I'd forget about the Museum of Science and Industry part. It's the Brian Haddad Museum. Enjoy it, effers. That'd be the new name of the museum.
You know what? I'd prefer that museum because there'd be more donut shops. If you owned it.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time for Head to Headlines, where you decide the content of the show. Based on 2 headlines we'll give you, you text in headline 1 or headline 2 to 312-591-8300. It's a story that you want to hear about based on the headline alone. Now remember, be careful. Choose wisely, because the other story we'll never talk about again. Ever. Ever.
Even if there's a fire.
That's right. So choose wisely. Here is headline number 1. Anti-sex beds have arrived at Paris Olympics after horny athletes admit to orgies amid competition.
So much there.
So much in that headline.
I just want to know why they can't have sex.
Right? I thought this was a free country.
Well, they're not. They're in Paris. Paris ain't that free, like here.
Communist nation. Good Lord.
Paris, no sexy. Eh?
Listen, also we want to win, right? Having sex over there is going to deplete your
What?
stuff.
I don't know. Imagine being an Olympic athlete, being an Olympic male athlete and trying to impress a woman by winning a gold medal. That could motivate us.
Well,
Also, I think the more relaxed you are, probably the better you do.
but boxers abstain before fights for months in training, so they have
Months?
months. They're really angry when they get in the ring, and that usually wins fights. So
I
anyway,
just feel like, what if you're doing the pole vaulting? Because I think having a relaxed body, if you tense up, you're not going to make it over the thing.
That's a great point, Kenzie.
You have to be you got to be able to woo.
yeah. Also, you only need 1 pole for pole vaulting. So.
Sit with that for a second, Brian.
No one's gonna chuckle at that.
Sit with that one
That's
for a
good
second.
joke. That was a good joke.
Well, your penis doesn't fall off because you had sex. So you still have your other pole.
I understand, but if you haven't had any sex, you're gonna have 2 poles. You see what I'm saying?
No, think about the joke again, Kenzie. Let Brian explain it one more time.
See,
No,
here's-
my favorite jokes are the ones that you have to explain a few times.
That's what they always say.
Yeah, those
So
are the
you,
best.
so you see, Kenzie.
So there's 2 poles, right?
Oh my God.
All right, so that's headline number 1. If you want to hear more about that story, text headline number 1. Here is headline number 2. Judge orders Alabama driver to apologize or face jail time for telling officer, "Get your ass out the way."
It's kind of interesting that now you can avoid jail time by saying you're sorry.
That's all they want there. Well, I don't know the whole
This
story.
is fantastic news.
I don't know.
I wish this would have been the policy when I stole that lip gloss.
Oh, I don't know.
I was like, sorry.
I don't know. Well, we don't know the story. So that's the headline number 2. So if you're more intrigued by that one, text in headline number 2. And there's your stories. You decide the content right now at 312-591-8300. Text headline 1 or headline 2. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Head to headlines where you choose the content of the show right now. You decide, based on the headline alone, which story you want to hear more about by texting in headline 1 or headline 2. We have the results. Last text coming through here as Kenzie tallies them all up. But here we go. Headline number 1 is, anti-sex beds have arrived at Paris Olympics after horny athletes admit to orgies amid competition. Want to hear more about that story? Headline number 1. Headline number 2 was, judge orders Alabama driver to apologize or face jail time for telling officer, "Get your ass out the way."
Period.
Now, as much as some people wanted to hear more about that story, It all went to the anti-sex beds, headline 1. So sorry, we'll never talk about that Alabama driver story. You figure it out for yourself. So here we go. Anti-sex beds have arrived at Paris Olympics after horny athletes admit to orgies amid competition. And here we go. That is the one you chose. There'll be no lovemaking in the city of love. That's Paris, by the way. Anti-sex beds have arrived in Paris ahead of the 2024 Olympic Games with their materials and small size allegedly aimed at deterring athletes from getting kinky during the competition.
Are these like spiky? What do you mean the materials?
They put spike strips down like it's a police chase.
That's what I thought. I thought that's what could be an anti-sex bed.
Right.
It's still a bed.
I mean, you would think you would know. You know, Brian and I would maybe have some experience in that ballpark.
Yeah.
Just a bed with Brian
Yeah,
and
they
Case
just
in
ship our
it.
beds in from high school.
Yeah. I got my Legos.
Brian is slammed for the Olympics. He's working hard.
Did you ever have sex in the bed you grew up in? Case?
Yeah, but it was after I had gone to college and then came back home, and then there was a summer where I put that thing to good use.
Right.
I need receipts on that.
Unfortunately, I don't talk to that person anymore. We have each other's numbers blocked.
That's terrible.
I know, it's a bummer. I'd get you them if I could.
Yeah. Kenzie, you ever?
I don't want to answer that question.
No, okay. That's why I didn't answer. So I didn't ask you first. I thought I want to move on from that
But you
one.
asked me anyways. What does it matter? What does it matter if you ask me first?
Because I
Determination.
still wanted to ask. I'm curious. Because I did once in the bed that I grew up in. And it was same
Did
with...
you share a room with your brothers?
I did.
Huh. So
Were they
all right.
there?
Yeah.
You want to know more?
I do. Will you please tell me more?
It's like Grease over here. Tell me more.
It was really quick. He was in the bathroom. And I snuck her in.
Ew.
I think she had a good time.
Which one was in the bathroom? You had like 5 brothers.
Well, I'm not going to say that because I want them to be here to defend themselves in the situation. I have a lot of brothers. But anyway, that's what happened.
Was it like a high school sweetheart?
No. This was also college situation. I didn't get laid in high school. Jesus.
Neither did I. My man.
That's right. Facts.
I'm not even mad. That's amazing.
Okay, so here we go back to the story. No love making in the city love. The anti-sex beds, here's what they are. They said materials and small size. The beds are twins, meaning there's no room for the competitors to sidle up together. Okay, what I'm talking about, I had a twin bed. Listen, that's not going to stop anybody from having sex. A twin bed.
Right. I guess unless they're like really big people. Olympians are.
Some of them
big
are
people.
massive.
Yeah.
I get it. But if you want to have sex and there's a twin bed, I'm going to say, well, we can't have sex then. That's never going to happen. Ever.
Is there a song about that?
It's an SNL song. I know what you're thinking of, where they say, do it on my twin bed.
Okay.
Yeah, they bring their boyfriends home for the holidays. That's probably worth playing after we talk about the no sex beds.
Okay. The beds are also, they're manufactured by Airweave, which also makes products for the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan. And apparently they say the materials of it are uncomfortable as well, which isn't going to be good for sleeping.
I was going to say, what about them getting a good night's rest before playing in the Olympic Games?
Yeah, they're kind of like cardboard feeling. That's what they're using in the words of the materials of the beds. So they're twin beds,
man.
like cardboard feeling. Ugh.
Great, so you're going to have sore arms and back and legs? That's you're that worried about sex that you're like, well, let's physically put them in pain and let them not sleep for the Olympics in case they have sex.
I don't know what our gold medal count last time was, but I bet it wasn't good. And this was the same kind of
Is
theory.
sex banned from the Olympics? Like, can you be like, they can't participate because they had sex?
Well, here's the issue, because
Or just preferred that you don't?
I guess they don't want you to, but they've also, for this year's Olympic Village in Paris, there's 300,000 condoms available for everybody because they know how much they try to stop sex. And of course, during COVID, they're worried about
I mean,
spreading
what is
that.
it, summer camp? Why are they so worried about it?
I don't know. I guess they're worried about spreading COVID still at this point. But I mean, you can do that without, sex.
Yeah, I don't think that was a sexually transmitted disease from what I understood.
It's molded into
Because I
that.
have some questions for some people if that's the case.
Well, listen, to show you the level of how many and different athletes are getting laid, table tennis player Matthew said, that's his name,
Not
said.
getting laid because he's a table tennis player?
Oh, no. That's what you think. He said in the 1992 games in Barcelona, quote, I got laid more often in those 2.5 weeks than the rest of my life. And this is a table tennis guy.
Imagine a basketball player.
Right. Imagine the weightlifter.
Oh, my God.
God. So apparently, it doesn't matter what you do, but table tennis pretty popular with the ladies in there. So it's
Well, it sounds like the table is probably more comfortable than the bed. Maybe that's why.
They say it's unlikely the cardboard beds will stop the horny Olympians from fornicating, with one competitor claiming, a hot tub orgy took place one year.
Do you think that this is just their excuse for not spending a lot of money on the beds? There's there's a reason behind it.
It's just a box they undo.
Yeah.
It's a cardboard box. This is your bed. Ooh, a lot of technology went in here for this. And that's it.
I guess I just don't understand what the big deal is if they hook up. Why is that anyone's business? They're just going to create more Olympians.
They just, you'd think
Isn't
so.
that like a good thing for the Olympics?
You would think it'd be a perfect place to do everything, but they don't want
That's
it.
what's going to keep the thing alive.
Yeah.
You want baby Olympians.
Oh, they should do the baby Olympics.
There is baby Olympics.
Oh, really?
Yes, and it's so cute.
Why is that not on TV? I'd watch that.
Way better.
I
And
want
less
to
sex,
watch
probably.
4-year-olds play basketball.
There's not a baby Olympics. Kenzie,
Yes, there
there?
is.
I mean, like, baby, what do they do?
Brian doesn't know about it because his kid's not in it. It's embarrassing.
She's going to dominate, I'll tell you that much.
There are.
If she wants to eat, she knows what's good for her, she better get good.
There is baby. Look at this video. Well, this is a song. Wait.
Yeah.
Why is there a song called Baby Olympics?
Well, I mean, so what do they do? Do they just like
Like
freak-
a crawl?
There's like gymnastics. You
For
know?
babies?
Yeah, because they like roll. It's so cute.
Oh, that's nice.
They should do like a 100-meter crawl.
I don't know like the level of importance it is, but there is like a Baby Olympics.
Huh.
Like a mini one.
In the meantime, I found Do It on My Twin Bed from Saturday Night Live.
Yes, this is about when girlfriends bring their boyfriends home for the holidays and they're forced to do it in their childhood bedrooms.
Ah, okay. Let's see what the song sounds like here. There's the bit, actually. Here we go.
Hey, it's your girls. Kate, Cecily, Noelle, Vanessa, Nassim, and your little baby 80. We're home for the holidays. And this year, we brought our boyfriends home with us. But just because we're back in our mom and dad's house doesn't mean we can't still get a little nasty. Back in town visiting my mom and dad. But that don't mean I wanna be bad. Say what's up to my cousins. Say what's up to my neighbors. Then take my man to my childhood bedroom. This is my old christening dress. And here's my stack of X-Files on VHS. So in a freeze in my monkey sheets that I've had since I was a kid. Let's do it in my twin bed. Not gonna like it, but it's the only option. Well, we can get it poppin'. Let's do it in my twin bed. Probably fall off it. Let's get wild. In a bed for a child.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.